A lot of pressure, man.
Yeah, it is. Evil,
Knievel.
not our real names.
Nailed it.
What's to do?
Oh, you want me to do my bit? Okay, here we go.
Who are those guys?
You're gonna love it. It's just a little independent.
That might have been too much, man. Hey,
Hello.
we are too much today.
We are too
We
much
out
today.
of control today.
And it's because of excitement. Hello. Welcome to A Little Independent, the show where friends talk about independent, obscure, and just plain weird movies. My name is Ryan.
And I'm Todd.
Hi, Todd.
Hi, Ryan.
Oh, boy.
I'm
Sumptuous.
I'm so happy to be here.
That was beautiful. And with us to witness what we just did is writer, director, author, publisher, business owner, Jason Krawczyk. Welcome.
Hey, thanks for having me. That was a pretty good pronunciation of my name.
Well, that is a source of why don't we get right to it? It's Krawczyk. It's Krawczyk. We messed it up terribly when we did He Never Died. So was that as close as can be?
That's great. No, that was great. That was. I've heard the thing. Going through grade school with that last name, I've heard a good amount of.
And so in New Jersey, is that where you grew up? New Jersey?
I grew up in New Jersey. Yeah.
How does it sound in the New Jersey accent?
Oh man, I don't really have one, and I know I grew up in South Jersey, where it's a little bit more like Pine Woods redneck.
Heard.
With a dash of Atlantic City.
A dash of Atlantic City.
Have you seen the Jersey
so
Devil
you,
lately?
I grew up right next to Atlantic City, and then when you get north, then you get the waters and coffees and all that, and then when it comes to Krawczyk, it's usually Krawczyk, like that kind of Krawczyk.
It's a perfect name for me because I'm from Chicago, and that feels very neighborhoody. So if I put a little Chicago stank on it, it's with all due respect. And having said all the things that you do, it's amazing, and responsibilities for a dog, at least one dog. It's amazing you had time to do this. So we thank you. And we're going to start by saying you are really what we laud on the show, who we laud on the show, even deify, if I may say. You're a writer and director when it comes to films. You are an author, you do other things, but in the world of our podcast, you're a writer-director. And we have our own esteem on that term. But what does being a writer-director mean to you today?
Being a writer-director means you said something very interesting to me, where it's just with all the things you do, it's amazing you found the time for this. And when you're not directing, you're mostly trying to direct. so you're mostly just trying to you're mostly just trying to reach out and do pitches and try to coordinate with producers and try to get the next steps of how to get a thing greenlit. And that is a lot of sitting on your hands and being at home and trying to figure that out. I have a couple writing projects on the go right now. I'm ghostwriting a screenplay for somebody and all that, and but I'm mostly just at home, walking my dog and talking to you and coordinating and taking meetings on Zoom. I do love the one thing that I will thank the pandemic for, other than all the horrors it did to the world.
Right.
It's most of my meetings now are just on Zoom. And I'm just oh, that's wonderful. It cuts my time into a third. So that's kind of nice.
That's fantastic. Feels very Jack. Yeah. I think Jack would like that.
Jack would also like that if he could just not do anything. But yes. So what does a writer-director mean to me? I think the thing I like about being a writer-director over anything else, because I have written a lot of things for people, and I've written things that have been directed by somebody else, but I've never directed anything I haven't written. So I like the design aspect of it, because when it comes to you're writing something in a screenplay, and you get to design the world as you're writing it, so you can kind of visualize in your head how you want to do this and how you kind of want to shoot it, and what you're going to how you're going to approach the visual language of it and such. Where like if you're just writing as a screenwriter, which I'm kind of doing right now for as a ghostwriting thing, I'm just like, whatever, they'll figure it out.
Wow. Yeah, not worried about the budget, right?
I'm not really worried about the budget. Yeah, and it's like they might have notes, but I'm like, all right, well, I could use my director brain and kind of like formulate how this would be possible. But right now, I'm kind of like, figure it out, stupid.
So on the writing lines, how did you develop? Did you go to writing school, film school, or are you self-taught?
I went to film school. I went to Monmouth University that has a TV, radio, film program. I actually did a lot more radio in that because I made a lot of friends in that, and I did like the radio world of it. It was a lot of fun. But they also had a screenwriting, history of film. They had like they had a decent amount of equipment. They didn't really have C stands and stuff, but they had cameras and tripods and such. And I just tried to rent that stuff out as much as I possibly could. I was writing stuff and not doing my homework.
So a true writer. Forget all that other stuff. Let's sit down and write.
Honestly, like to the point I was like, hey, I'm writing a script where I'm like shooting a short film. I tried to shoot a feature film there, and I was like, can this be applied as like a college credit? And like I got a few of them to be applied for a college credit. And like the stuff that was like not in the curriculum that you have to take, because you have to take like literature too and world history and stuff like that. Those things plummeted for me. But I did pretty well in the actual like art, the stuff I was interested. I did well at.
And was it because it was in distraction to your pursuit of something that you were singularly focused on? Because Meryl Streep infamously said, "Interesting people make interesting actors," so you don't necessarily have to go to film school, which is interesting. So did you have a singular focus, like this is my path, and everything else is a distraction?
I can kind of guess you say that. And like, there's a bit of me, like, if I get to read, because I'm 40. So if I went back and I did it in however old I was, 19, 20, I'd probably be like, you know what? I would have enjoyed doing literature too, or like world history, or like even some basic like biology. I think that would be neat now.
Yeah. You're ready for it now.
Yeah. You're more cultured.
Are you saying urgency was driving you?
Yeah, I guess so. I guess that would be the thing, because like you always kind of like, especially when you're doing artistic pursuits, I'm still grappling with this, where you compare yourself to everybody else. Like, how old was Orson Welles when he directed Citizen Kane? Was he
right?
20? So I'm 20, and I'm like, I got 5 years to make Citizen Kane.
Well, we admire that hustle, because a thing that we say on the show a lot, and not that either of us know, but making a movie is amazing. Getting it to a screen, to somebody's eyes, is amazing. So can you maybe dispel a myth? Does a writer director on any film, independent or other, know absolutely everything that's going on? Can they?
Oh, absolutely not. Going back to Orson Welles, he did say a thing about like you could learn the craft of filmmaking like in a day and a half or something like that. And there is a truth to that, because being a director, you don't really need to know the technicalities of it that much. You don't need to know ISOs in the camera and what like the lumens are in these lights, and what everything, like what all these, like what's a gobo and stuff. You don't need to know that. You can just say yes and no. People will come up to you and ask you a question, and you could just say yes and no and get through the entirety of the thing and make a decent movie that way. I do not. I'm a nerd in that regard. I was a grip for like a decade. I was a gaffer for a while. I was a juicer.
Yeah, a juicer. And that's early on in your career. You were doing things to learn the craft. Can you talk about what a juicer is?
Oh, it's just it's pretty much just like an assistant for a gaffer, where you just plug lights in and turn things on and stuff like that. It was mostly for like commercials and a lot of reality TV. I was on that show Tanked, which was like the
absolutely
fish tank show. I forgot which network that was on, but it was on like Animal Planet.
I feel like that could be an obscure obsession of somebody's.
Yeah,
like let's come over and get tanked and watch Tanked.
Yeah,
we don't do TV much
with
on
a
the show,
juicer.
Yeah, exactly. And did you have anybody early, even in your schooling, yes-anding you? Like, did you have an early mentor? Did you have, outside of the directors that you revered, Was there anybody, on terra firma in your life that was giving you some affirmation?
I would say yes. I would say he was a professor in Monmouth, and I liked a lot of my professors in Monmouth, but he was the only one that was like, oh, you can actually like do it if you keep it up. Like, he was Professor Chad Bell, and he taught a history of film class, and he had a really great and he taught a screenwriting class, and he had a really great example of like what you should try to do, like in a metaphor of screenwriting.
Right.
His big thing was like, you go to a theater and the curtains open up and there's like a Stanley Whiplash bad guy with a big mustache and he's got a cape, and you're in the theater and you're like, whoa, what's this guy gonna do? And then he pulls out a big cartoon Tex Avery bomb with the wick, and then he lights it and then he walks away. And then you're sitting there watching a wick go down onto a big cartoon bomb. And as an audience member, when you read a screenplay or you watch a movie, this is kind of like reflective of how you should be watching a movie. It was kind of like, oh, this is kind of silly and sensational, but what happens when that wick gets to the bottom? Am I in a room and it's going to explode?
Right.
And he was like, that's kind of the metaphor you should use when you approach any kind of like writing endeavor, and you have audience members who are actually going to read it, where you're just like you're introducing a weird idea, or you're introducing an idea, and you kind of want to see how it happens, and it could end in disaster. And I was like, okay, so like whenever I talk to people about what they should do, I kind of use that metaphor still, and I always kind of remember Chad Dell, because first of all, he was supportive, so I'm never gonna offend him for that, but also because he has the same cadence as Jeff Goldblum when he talks. Yeah. So I'm always kind of like, man, I don't think he knows it, but like he's like, if
he's got that pause in there, like
that's
what do they got in there? King Kong.
Yeah. So like, but if you heard him talk in a different room, like, is Jeff Goldblum in the room? Like, it's kind of crazy, and it is like just inherently hypnotic. So he's a great professor.
Oh, that's awesome. Who is your favorite screenwriter?
Oh, like, right. It's really hard to say no to Charlie Kaufman.
Very, very.
Oh, that's awesome.
Answer.
Yeah. And the second half is, and why isn't it Bill Goldman?
So he has got.
Todd really Goldman
loves.
Fan, yeah.
And is it kind of tough to, because I feel like that you're. At least the films that we've done on the podcast, He Never Died and Don't Mess with Grandma, are very multi-generational. I watched He Never Died with my son, Rollins. That's his name.
Really?
Yeah. Again,
we're gonna get
a
to
very special connection to your movie, but he loved it, but is it tough to pitch somebody like William Goldman to a younger audience? Is there like a classic way of approaching screenwriting that isn't really transferable anymore, because there's a richness there, but
Princess Bride will go on forever.
That's a good point.
Multi-generational.
100%. Like, and I think when it comes to Princess Bride, like when it comes to like being able to cross genre, cross generations for appeal, I think there's a lot of different ways to do this, but I think the secret ingredient to that is having like a Venn diagram of genres and not just be a single tone or genre, and like aesthetics and stuff like this, and like a wide net of cast members of different variations, right? Like there's He Never Died. Well, he's an immortal, so I don't know how you would. I don't know how you him, but like he does have an elderly landlord, and he does have a kid who's 17, and he does talk to mobsters that are in their 40s. Like the spectrum is pretty wide for the type of people in this movie, and those are always movies that I always like. Are the most receptive to, like the holy quadrilogy. I mean, the holy quadrilogy for me is Terminator, Alien, RoboCop, and Predator. Like I love those.
Correct.
I will watch every one of those movies every year.
And they're not ironically good. I think a lot of people may look at a movie like RoboCop and think I think fundamentally that's a perfect movie. As is Predator, all of them. Not kitschy, not like. From a messaging standpoint, societally, if you look at it that way, brilliant.
Yeah.
I mean, if you look at the cast in those things too, they're just like it's a cornucopia of people, and
Yeah.
and I think that's amazing. Like that, and it's all them trying to work together and having their own foibles and backgrounds and stuff like that. And I'm always kind of those movies only get better the more I watch them, and I'm always impressed by them. So yeah, I think that helps too. And they're not one genre, like we were talking about too. Like RoboCop does a great job of being like a gory, sensational special effects extravaganza, but it's also like a pathos-driven existential crisis.
Right.
It's also like a hilarious like satire on corporations and society and stuff like that. So that's a perfect Venn diagram that I don't think you can ever like replicate again.
You get it.
Yeah.
Just one quick question on the writing from you while we're in that mode. And He Never Died. When you wrote that he slaps the gun out of his hand, and the mobster guy points the gun at, and he just knocks it out of his hand. Did that just pop? I mean, that was brilliant. So where did that come from, or how did that? Did it just inspiration just flash, or what?
Well, when it comes to the violence of that, and like Henry was really into this too. Like when we first sat down, it was in a Starbucks in New York to talk about the movie, and like he's an idol of mine, so like I was definitely like almost frozen in fear. The first thing he did when he sat down was like, "All right, before we start talking, this movie's a comedy, right?" I'm like, "Yes, it is." All right, cool. Because like you might not be able to translate that in the prose
on the page, and maybe
yeah.
Well, the idea of him asking probably affirmed, at least in a way, right?
Yeah,
that he was paying attention.
Yeah, he was paying attention, and he could read in between lines. And like I try to add a little like aesthetic zhuzh to scripts, so just so actors and crew members can get an idea of what they're going for. But like when he knocks a gun out of people's hands, I wanted to make it so like any kind of physical threat to this guy is a nuisance and nothing more.
Perfect. That's exactly describes what happened.
Yeah, and so like the things that actually do bother him are like getting through his day and existing, and just the ennui of that, and like the human element of trying to like talk to people is what like he fears the most, and he doesn't want to even engage in that. So but like he's the violence in him, because he's got centuries of violence under his belt. That stuff's rote. He doesn't even know what's happening really when he engages. So like if he sees a gun, he doesn't want to get. It's not that he doesn't want to get shot because it hurt. He could die or it hurts. He doesn't want to get shot because then he'll have to like pry that out of him,
right out of his forehead.
Exactly. Yeah.
But it's followed, and I think what's really brilliant about He Never Died is it's followed with the most brilliant response to getting punched by a henchman, which is don't.
Yeah.
And that's like, it's a 1-2 punch. And that film specifically does that a lot, where you have this, like it's the slap of the gun. And again, my son laughed out loud, but got both jokes, which I thought was phenomenal. Now, early on, you talked about making little movies. Is it important to kind of find a tone of voice early, or just to continue making little movies up until you did your first movie, Briefcase?
When it comes to making like little shorts and stuff, I think it is important for you to do that, because you're still finding out your voice, man. Like you don't really know, like it makes sense in your head, or like you think it makes sense in your head, and then when you see it when you see it visually for the first time, you're gonna go like, oh, that's what that looks like. or like that, or
that's like, interesting.
Yeah.
So like you're not visually seeing it complete. That kind of blows my mind. So you're not. You'd assume like you have the full vision, and you're not even confident in yourself enough to go, oh, that's what that looks like. It feels like you're very real with yourself. That's shocking.
Yeah, because like it's whatever movie is in your head, you're not going to make, and it took a while for me to figure that out. Whatever movie that's actually in your head, you're either going to make a worse version or a better version of it. And then
so accept it now.
Yeah, so accept it now. And I do try to tell people that who are just starting, but like the movie in your head is not going. Shoot for it, please shoot for it. Like do everything you can to have that happen. But at the same time, it's not going to be. It's going to be some third thing. that you don't really know.
Wow.
Yeah, this is great. Yeah.
Well said.
But like you're gonna fall in love with that thing too. Like it's gonna be this new because like when it comes to He Never Died, a lot of that's on the page. Like same thing with Don't Mess with Grandma. But those movies are exactly what's on the page. But when they come out on the other end of the edit and filming all this stuff, I'm like, oh, it's some third thing I didn't really imagine.
It makes sense when you say it that way.
Yeah,
but
it totally does because there's so many more ingredients that go into it,
Right.
before the finished product. Yeah.
Yeah. And like people bring their own things, and I want them to do that. Like when it comes to like production designers and cinematographers and actors and stuff, they have their own ideas and translations of what's going on with the character and storytelling. And I kind of want them to flex those muscles. And if they go too far outside of the sandbox, yeah, sure, stop them. But if like they have an idea that is complementary to the story we're trying to tell, I kind of let them go crazy with that. And a good example of that was like the first scene we shot for He Never Died with Henry Rollins. And we've rehearsed and talked about it for a while. We were lucky enough to have like table reads and stuff and rehearsals. But the first scene we shot was him talking to Boo Boo Stewart in the parking lot. It was like, how long have I been asleep? I'm like, oh,
how would I know that?
Yeah. And then, and I was like, I was a little bit like taken back, like, oh, he's like fucking, sorry if I curse. But
please
like,
curse. Go ahead, please.
Okay,
You're very
good.
free.
Like, oh God, Jack is like fucking just turned off. Like I did not he's just so done with humanity. And I'm like, is this going to be too exhausting for a movie? Like an entire like 90-minute movie with this character? Like I think this is funny, but like, is he like, how's this going to translate? And then I was kind of like, okay, what's this? This is gonna, all right, we got this. No, this is what we wrote. This is what we talked about. This is gonna be great. He's committed. And then when we got to the violence stuff and seeing him maintain that exhaustion, and having everyone around him kind of react accordingly, I was like, okay, that's gonna be the contrast. That's gonna be the yin to the yang.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Okay, we're gonna be okay. And plus, like he does emote a bit more. He becomes more of a human as the movie goes on, and I think that's
well, I'm going to throw just a bit of praise your way and say quite the opposite effect, because, and it's the second time maybe I'll make a Christopher Nolan comparison, but similar to Heath Ledger in The Dark Knight Rises, I can't get enough of him on screen. So every time Henry's deadpan and every time he does violence, I find myself like, let's get Henry back on the screen to do what he's doing. And not just because, he's saying funny lines or something, because the performance is so subtle and he's so heartbreaking that you want to care for him like Kara cares for him. So aside from diving right into Henry Rollins in He Never Died, we're going to do Todd a solid because we need to talk about Kate Greenhouse, the character of the waitress Kara.
Oh, she's great.
Almost Parker Posey.
Oh yeah, I don't know. Where did you find that? That's amazing.
So first, you could see
it. Was a deep
like
dive.
you could see it. And I think it's great that she's an inspiration of yours. You can't see it, but first, almost Parker Posey ? And then please talk about that character and how that performance came together.
Okay, so Adrienne Stern is my casting director. I'm talking to her tomorrow, and usually she's my first point of contact when I'm making a movie, because for me to make a movie, I usually need an actor attached in some variety.
Sure.
Because the scripts are so idiosyncratic, and my movies do have success and people like them, which I'm very grateful about. And but like they're not like blowing away in the box. They're not long legs yet, hopefully. but like
yes, I was saying that as well.
It's coming.
Yes.
So like I was kind of like, okay, well, if I can get an attachment of an actor that I really admire, and then we can go this direction, and it helps gain momentum and snowball effect to eventually greenlight a movie. And our first one was Henry Rollins because I wrote it with him in mind. Same thing with Michael Jai White for Sons of Superman, but we'll get to that later.
Yeah.
And then, but we got Henry Rollins attached, and Adrienne Stern was like, people who like I didn't know who he was when you talked to him, when you talked about him.
Yeah.
But people who like him love him. People who don't know who he is, don't know who he is. And
Okay.
like, so like, there's not like he, and I was like, oh, okay, so you need to attach someone else to this that'll kind of help and I
Sure.
love Parker Posey, and she was always a part of the lookbooks and the pitch guide and stuff like that. And we did go out to her, and then she was like, yes. And I was like, what the fuck? Really? Like,
I got both of them.
Yeah. Wow.
That's insane. And then we were trying to figure out the scheduling, because like I came up to Toronto, which I do live in now.
Yeah.
I came up to Toronto for TIFF. We pitched it around. They were like, we could probably make this work. We can probably make this budget work with tax credits and all this jazz.
Sure.
And I was like, yep, I'm sold. But that required a month or two push on the schedule, and then Parker couldn't make that. But we got the budget.
Sure.
And like, there's an alternate timeline that has Parker Posey in it, which I would be really interested to see. But at the same time, I'm like, you might have lost something, because Kate Greenhouse just absolutely kills it.
Well, we go back to our second episode, and I feared that she'd take out a restraining order on Todd because of his.
No, I re-listened. It wasn't that bad.
But she is staggering. One, not only to be physically present with Henry Rollins, like you said, who's just imposing. But what was really the secret sauce to making that pair work? And if it, was just all you, please say so.
No, there was a casting call for Kara in Toronto. She's Canadian. And then we got a bunch, and people didn't really know how to react to this. And the scene that was in the casting call was the long walk and talk where he lists his jobs.
Oh my God, yes.
So you made Rollins repeat that over and over again.
Yeah. And then and he could probably do it to this day. He's a machine. But like, there was a bit where like and then you start to see like, you need this this wry cynicism to you, like to actually make like the character of Kara work. And she was the only one who kind of did that, but wasn't intimidated by Henry.
Wow.
Or like by the character of Jack, because like I write, like she clearly like read the entire script for this scene, so she did play it as if like she just witnessed a fight scene. This dude's weird, but there's some like kernel of marshmallow within him somewhere, and she played it with that in mind. And then, but she also had like that like rough and tumble energy where she's failed a bunch in life, and like a lot of them didn't do that. A lot of them played it like a romantic comedy, and she played it like I'm kind of a Bruce Springsteen song come to life. She had that like
yeah, and that probably came because she took the time to read the whole script.
That's fascinating, because clearly what she did in an audition setting mattered.
Yes,
and I think that you take note. How do you maybe interpret the movie as a romantic comedy is fascinating.
Maybe not reading the whole script and just that scene.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Well,
yeah. And a lot of people do that because there's not a lot of, and I can't blame them for that. They don't have a lot of time. They're like, hey, the auditions or like the recording of this is in a day or two. Can you get to this? And like, if you have a job or something, you only have so much time to read the script.
Yeah.
So, like, I don't want to condemn them too much. But like the one thing Kate Greenhouse did say to me that like, oh, you get it. Was like, this is pretty much Twilight for 40-year-olds. I'm like, yeah, divorced 40-year-olds. And I'm like, yeah, pretty much, yeah.
What in her bio and IMDb or her listing, she hired maybe 2 movies. So is she a stage actor as well, or where did she get her chops from? Do you know? I'm
not really sure. I know she did a movie that I watched and researched for her called Dark Hours or something like that, and that was really good. Hold on.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a bit, but like I was just really impressed, and she's pretty much a mainstay of like Ontario TV and stuff. So there's if you watch Murdoch Mysteries and stuff, she's gonna pop up.
Okay.
Well, very similarly, this is the second Christopher Nolan comparison, because you alluded to this before. It was funny when people thought Christopher Nolan saw Bronson and cast Tom Hardy as Bane. He hadn't seen it. You did not know that Henry Rollins was in Black Flag. You knew him from other things. He's been writing for a long time, but like, I think it's interesting that you knew him, and you mentioned comedy. So can you share a little bit about what you knew him from?
yeah, I knew he was in Black Flag before he never died, but when I was introduced to him as a kid, and like what I thought was really neat was Comedy Central was a thing, and I was watching Premium Blend and Comedy Central Presents a lot, and then like I love Mystery Science Theater, so I'd stay up all night and watch weird TV. But like Comedy Central would play the Henry Rollins spoken word specials all the time.
Yeah, that's right.
And like I was kind of infatuated because he seems so intense, but he also seems so progressive and gentle. Like I didn't know you could be both. And he was weird, like I was like, I don't. Is he a comedy? He's funny, but like, is he like? He's a weird muscular comedian.
And he's definitely a carnivore.
And and like this guy, and he looks intense, but he has like these kind of like philosophical takes on things that are like gentle, and then he showed up on an episode of Ben Stein had a talk show for a minute.
That's right.
I forgot what that was called. And he showed up on that, and I'm like, oh, that's
very
that
intelligent
comedian guy. And then he was talking about being in bands and stuff. Like, oh, he was in a band.
Yeah. And maybe I misread that because I maybe read that you didn't know he was in Black Flag. And what's really ironic is if you read his tour diary, Get in the Van, his character was Jack. Like he lived as Jack in Black Flag. If you read it, he's isolated and he's seen everything and he just wants out.
Oh yeah.
But when you met him, not the case. You would think if you know him, oh, that's an easy stretch to play Jack. That's Henry Rollins, but not the case in real life.
Not really. Like I knew of Rollins band and Black Flag, and I was a fan when I got to meet him at that point. But like I did read Get in the Van by the time I met him, so I did know of that. But none of that was like informed to me for what I was writing, because I only started to read that once I knew he was cast. So I wanted to like get in his brain a little bit.
Scary place sometimes.
Very
intense.
But the thing is, at the same time, he is like he is the guy you want him to be. He is like a giggly, self-effacing dude who's very, very aware of his surroundings, and he's compassionate towards like everybody. He'll talk to anybody on set. So like to meet the guy that I idolized since I was a kid, like in my single digits, and then him to be just as good, if not better, as a person. Like he's not on the Epstein list. Like I guarantee that.
Thank goodness. You name your son somebody, and you're like, just stay clean, buddy. Stay clean.
No, and like he's a genuinely compassionate dude, and I think that's that really spoiled me for every actor I've ever worked with.
So what Ryan, this is for you. What was it like having your son Rollins, named after Henry Rollins, watch this movie? And was he like cognizant
he was
of
super,
that? Like this is what you have to live up to, son.
He was pumped every time he was back on screen. He's like, there he is. So like,
cool.
I haven't pushed it on him too much, and he's not into punk rock music, but it's his work hard ethos. And I have to ask Jason, did his preparation, although I'm sure it didn't surprise you, did it make you feel good? Like, I heard him say that he could probably do everybody's line. He learns everybody's line. Did that help, elevate the level on set, that level of preparedness that he brought?
Oh yeah. And like that, for sure it made me feel good, man. Like it's so weird to have your role model be a fan of something you did. And so like, so that was I'm still kind of not comfortable with that. And like, it took me a good week or two to be like, to like gain the confidence to like direct him, because I'm like, oh man, he missed a mark, or like, oh, you should really turn this way for cam. Like it's really hard to like excuse me, sir, like and you don't want to do that, because it's also like you want to be he's working with you. He's not the boss. Like he wants a compatriot to help get to the point. And so like it's like you have to kind of step up your game, whether it's you fake it until you make it, but like final product's better. So like that was, and like I was 30 when I was directing He Never Died, and he was 50 or so. So it's just like, man, he's got so much years ahead of me, and like he's still like a muscular phenom,
right?
And then so yeah, I was intimidated, but at the same time, like, man, like this is like a dream come true. You have to step up to the plate of that.
Sure.
Damn the consequences later.
Right.
Yeah. Give it all you got.
Yeah. And so give it all you got. And like, yeah, his preparation and his like just genuine dedication to the thing that definitely permeated. Like the crew felt it and was excited. And then like it's honestly like half the crew knows who Henry Rollins is and really excited and just be able to talk to him. And he's like,
That's neat.
he's handing thumb drives out of music that people are interested in and stuff. And like, he's a gentle dude.
Wow.
Yeah, and like here's a good example of what Henry Rollins is like. We were at a Dead Fest, which is a movie, which is a film festival in Edmonton, yeah. Um, and I don't know how they did it, but they somehow got a hold of his email and they emailed him directly. And you're like, hey, do you want to go to this film festival? We'll pay for a flight. And he was like, yes, but he didn't tell anybody. He didn't tell Heidi. He didn't tell his agent. He didn't tell.
Was it for He Never Died?
Yeah, it was for He Never Died. And he invited me too. And I was like, yeah, hold on. And then yeah, sure, that sounds great. And then his agents and stuff like, what? You can't just say yes to any of these things. And they're like, well, I'm sorry, I didn't know. I thought it wasn't vetted through a thing. And he ended up going. And it's not like a huge festival. It's pretty like it's in a theater. So like this is probably their biggest thing.
Right.
And he just hung out the whole time because he didn't have anything else. There wasn't like a scheduled workshops and talks and all this stuff. It was just the film festival. So he was just there for a weekend at Edmonton and he just hung out and went to record stores. And we just I got to know him as a person a little bit more.
Wow.
But he hung out with like he just hung out with the festival programmers and just did whatever they asked him to. And it was nice to that. There was a security guard that was like that he hired for him because, you know, who knows? I get it. And the security guard at the end of he bought the security guard muffins and stuff at the end. And, like he would hang out with him for a while and he was barely even worried about his well-being. So like it was like, and he just had a nice time. So like there was a bit of me was like, oh man, like the dude underneath the Henry Rollins persona, first of all, is Henry Rollins, but second of all, he's a genuinely nice guy.
My war is amazing. A whole new meaning. My war is like, how can I be nice to this person today?
Yeah.
Completely different. And do you know, when you write a character like that who's so disassociated and who wants out, and is it hard to get in a headspace like that to identify with somebody who is the most horrible person on the planet? I mean, really all the bad things, that's Jack. With disassociated, maybe wants to no longer be here. Is that hard to get into that kind of person's head?
Yes and no. Like I'm definitely like my inner soul is definitely like probably a shades or two darker. I'm probably a little bit more on the depressive side than I am the optimistic side. So a lot of that shines through in He Never Died. But I think like when it comes to the core of me, I definitely am a little bit softer and sentimental. But I definitely am more of a cynical pessimist than I am not. And like I do feel that way about humanity. I do feel exhausted all the time. I do feel like that's just that high school sucked. Like it's just and like that all that stuff. And I always kind of felt alone and isolated. And like people like Henry Rollins were those guys that like, oh, I can be kind of cynical and wry and also be fine and okay with that. And like it just be a part of my personality. It doesn't have to be a detriment. So like that doesn't really, it's actually more cathartic than anything to just write a character who's not worried about physical violence or worried about saying anything inappropriate. He just says whatever's on his mind.
Right. and simply, you know, without wasting breath, which, you know, you could almost, my meditative partner, you know, take a meditative look at how Jack lives, you know, simplicity, and he doesn't waste his breath, which I think is.
Well, I'll let you know in 8,000 years.
Right. I'm in the Bible, if it means anything.
Oh,
got my son went like, whoa! Like he that was like, it would have been a spit take.
Does he know the Cain killed Abel story?
We had such a great talk afterwards.
Okay,
but in speaking, and this kind of sachets into Don't Mess with Grandma, you, and again, at least for the films that we have watched and covered on this show, you have leading characters who are very strong and very violent and very dark, but very lovable. I mean, I think two of the most loving characters in heroes that I root for, both in He Never Died and Don't Mess with Grandma. I mean, Michael Jai White's character is a beautiful soul, and I love him.
Oh, he's the best. And Michael Jai White, Like it's kind of
2 for 2,
also,
really? With
yeah,
the
2 for 2.
that's wild.
Yeah, I'm very lucky for that. And
We're
it
not
turns out
digging
my
for dirt, but like this is kind of a lot of things that you're saying are contrary to what we hear about the biz. So this is very uplifting.
Thanks. And like the biz has a lot of problems. I don't get me wrong, and they do frustrate me a lot. But like I've been very lucky to work with folks that I admire, and Michael Jai White's one of them. And like I not only love like Black Dynamite, but I do love Blood and Bone. And I
That
love his
movie,
mentality.
both of those
Yeah.
movies
Yeah.
rule. And
Yeah.
Black Dynamite, again, as a piece of like historic modern cinema, you could think it was filmed in another time, but and he's hilarious.
He's so funny, and he's also a nice guy, and he's super talented. Like he's got like 8 or 9 martial arts under his belt.
So
Like,
the real deal, as they say.
he's so disciplined.
And now
Yeah.
casting directing has been important in your career. And if I just ask kind of an insider or industry question, your casting director helped with He Never Died. You talked about how that your casting director helped with Don't Mess with Grandma, but you reached out directly to the actor. And how is that, and why is that risky? I find that fascinating. If you could tell the story of reaching out to your lead on Don't Mess with Grandma.
When it came to Don't Mess with Grandma, we did have a casting director. We didn't have anything greenlit yet. And this was like 2019. We were starting to try to get something off the ground.
Wow.
It was called Sunset Superman at the time, and it still is internationally, I guess. But like, and I wrote it with Michael Jai White in mind, because when I was writing it in like 2018 or so, I was like, who could do this? Like, it's just like, and I was like,
were you going to ask Henry Rollins to come back? Because he might.
I was watching it with Chris, my partner, and then I was like, and then I put on Black Dynamite, but I didn't tell them it was made in like 2012. I was just
really?
like, here's Black Dynamite. Yeah. So they thought it was an actual like black exploitation movie.
Really? See,
and
you can.
Like,
have you seen it?
And then
no, I've seen
it's
Blood
amazing.
and Bone, but I haven't seen Black Dynamite.
And they're watching it, and like every 5 minutes, they're like, "Wait, what? How?" Like, and like the boom mic stuff and all like the problem. And then I was like, "Oh, it's got to be Michael Jai White. How could it not be?" And then I reached out to, because we were starting to get like lists together, and we were talking to production companies, and I was just like so disheartened by like the people what the people were like bringing forward as potential actors, and to help get greenlit. And I was like, oh man, they could do it, but it's not like we don't have that je ne sais quoi.
Right.
And me and my casting director, Adrian Stern, was like, oh yeah, that makes total sense. But I've mentioned it to producers, and they're like, oh, we can't sell a movie with Michael Jai White. And then I'm like, well, first of all, you're wrong. Second of all, I'm just not going to tell you. And then I just didn't.
He said yes, but you didn't tell the producers.
We absolutely love you. Take heed.
So I just, Adrian Stern and I, casting director, I'm like, just send them an offer and see what happens. And then he said, oh shit, let's talk about it. And then I was like, oh hell yeah. And so like I flew out to LA. We talked about it. Lovely dude. We were super excited. He understood it. He understood this was not like he understood this was not a Blood and Bone type. He does not have a bunch of disciplines under his belt, but he does have like, he's just a genuinely tough guy.
Okay.
Who has a military background, so he has all these like dirty like small joint manipulation moves, and he knows how to like use his weight and stuff, and he does have like a knockout punch.
Yeah.
And like, yeah, well, he's more of a Tank Abbott, Derek Lewis type than he is like anything else.
Right.
And then I'm like, okay, cool. Like he wanted to do that. He wanted to be a guy who wasn't like more proficient in martial arts. And he kind of wanted to show his other sentimental side, where he's kind of like more bubbly, and he definitely has like a more receptive attitude. He wants to be helpful.
His relationship with the dog, I think, is one of the best things on screen in a long time. Like the scene at the end where they have a little conversation. I absolutely love
your
that
intro
scene.
scene
It's so
with
beautiful.
the dog was brilliant too. Of how he played the doors and the windows on.
Oh, right on. Thanks.
And so you location wise, the home is such a location. The area around it certainly sets a tone. What was the filming location? Were you on a set? Were you in a house?
We were in a house,
Wow.
and like when it comes to He Never Died and Sunset Superman have around the same budget, but they couldn't have been different in their production. They were the exact they were yin and yangs, just like how He
Wow.
Even Never Died and Sunset Superman are kind of like yin and yangs when it comes to like
Tone.
the tone and
One's
aesthetic.
jazz and one's rock and roll or metal.
Yeah, exactly. And then that's a really good way to put it. He Never Died was shot on a set in Pinewood. We were in downtown Toronto. There were some physical locations we went to and stuff like that, but it was very like streamlined, and it had 22 days of film. I had 20 days of
Wow.
filming, and it was in the winter, and it was mostly indoors. And we had we had way more resources than we needed because it was shot in like November, so a lot of production companies were done for the season, so we got to take advantage of all that.
Oh,
We
smart.
had a bunch of yeah, and then Sunset Superman was shot in like July, I think. So it was shot in July up north, so we had to shoot it like 3 hours up north of this, and then like when you shoot it in July, there's only like 6 hours of night when you're at that four.
Oh, and was this a night shoot primarily?
Yes, so it was like entire
Whoa.
like the whole movie's one night, right? It's a night.
That's a good point.
Yeah.
Yowzer.
And and it was on location. We had to find the location. That took forever. Because like they only have so many sets and stuff up north. It's a place called North Bay, and so you literally just start taking your location manager and knocking on doors. And we were not coming up with a place that could fit it because we needed an intro and a back. We need enough room. It needs to be isolated enough that we don't see a house around it. And like we would literally like just drive around, me and the DP and the James Griffith and Will as the location manager, and we would just literally look outside and like, what about that house? And then like and the location manager just literally like walk up and knock on their door and be like, hey, how's it going? Would you be interested in a film? We'll put you up in a place and pay you X, Y, and Z. And that's how that thing came to be.
Okay.
So like we literally, yeah.
It sounds like it would be hard to convince because you're as far north as you are, just walking up and knocking on a door that it's not some kind of con.
Well, good thing. I mean, the house
to the owner, to the homeowner
feels like a true extension of the person living in it. Were you really stoked at how everything kind of laid out as it related to the script that you wrote?
Yes, because like there was first of all, it has a look that not a lot of houses look like that, like where like the living room is like ascended from the ground floor and stuff like that. But it also had a lot of room, which was needed because you need to position cameras and all this jazz. So they had a lot of room to be able to like build a flyaway wall and put in so you can move it in and out. And they had an upstairs and a bath. We needed 2 bathrooms and a thing like that. So like it had all the necessary things. Plus, we want to do that gag where Pam and JT fall out of the window, and there was an upstairs where they have you could have a fight scene, and they had a big front yard.
Oh my god!
So they could have the whole like they could duke it out with the McDougal brothers. So so like it hit all the right notes.
Oh,
it took
man.
some like you don't film anything where they are though too, because like there is a barn that was next door to that, and now we use the attic of that barn for the attic of the movie, and none of where anything is where they actually were. There was some like filmmaking tomfoolery that had to be done. But it was
So
a great
you have we talked about getting Michael Jai White, and you also have Billy Zane in Sunset Superman doing
so
really transcendent stuff. We're big fans. We
well,
so
don't mess with grandma.
With that being said, what is it like balancing a dynamic on a set where you have different experiences and you have kind of an ensemble working together? Is there an art to balancing a set like that where you again have actors with come from different places?
Yes, and the hard thing with Sunset Superman versus He Never Died. He Never Died. We rehearsed ad nauseum. We had table reads. People came in. We sat down and did.
Is that not rare for a small movie like that? I mean, to have that.
It's pretty rare.
Wow! Congrats.
Yeah, and it was extremely beneficial. Sunset Superman had no rehearsals whatsoever. All the actors met on the day. Uh, and like I've talked to them, and I'm like, hey, and like I've talked to them much like how we're talking now on Zoom and stuff. Like, if you have any questions, please talk to me. These are real people and they're just caught in a scenario that is silly, and that's where the humor comes from. Don't try to oversell it. Billy Zane was like, nah, I'm gonna do whatever.
Wait, what? Like, for real?
Did he show up with that mustache, or did you plan that?
Part of the,
that was his idea. He because we cast Billy Zane late, because it was originally some other actor, and then he couldn't make it because he got cast in Horizon, the Kevin Costner movie.
Oh, sure, yeah.
Yeah, so he had to go. He was like, "I got to do that. I'm sorry." And I'm like, "That's fine." I get it. And so then we were scrambling for a stand, and then
wow.
Adrian Stern was like, "Well, we always got Billy Zane on speed dial." I'm like, "Give him a ring. See how he's doing." And then I love Demon Knight. Who doesn't love Demon Knight?
Oh my god, it's one of his favorite movies, admittedly, of his. So even he loves it.
Well, for me, he, no disrespect to the lead actor, obviously, but he just stole the show.
It was
Billy Zane just
really
killed it so much. His character was unbelievable. Yeah.
And so when it came to, and I think that was a frustrating overall that these actors didn't really get to have time together.
Right.
But I think it also does help the kinetic
chaos.
Of because they don't know no one knows what's happening.
Exactly. Yeah, great point.
Yeah. You want spontaneity? Here you go.
Yeah. And then Billy Zane showed up, and then I always kind of envisioned Stan as kind of more of a gruff and tumble guy who kind of gets thrown into more embarrassing situations. And he was like, I kind of think he's a little softer than that.
Okay.
And I was like, really? And he was like, yeah, I just think he's doing illegal stuff at this junkyard, but he's not the guy. He doesn't do any of the dirty work. And I'm like, yeah, I guess that makes sense. And then we kind of hashed it out a little bit, and then and the first thing we filmed with him, and no one recognized him when he showed up on set with the mustache.
How could you? Staggering.
Yeah, and they were like, what is that? And then but the first scene we filmed was when they switch the guns, and he thinks he has a loaded shotgun and he doesn't. He's like, hey, take it, I'm gonna get. And when he unveiled what his stand was gonna be like, I was like, no fucking way.
Yeah. Well, there's a case of you kind of going, well, that's what that looks like, right? And then you either dealt with it or you didn't. And so that affirmation helped. And looking at the cast, firstly, again, you have a lot of talent there. If you look in the group, it would be hard to tell that there wasn't a lot of time spent. But you had a really unique cast. I don't know how spoilery we can get on this episode. How comfortable are you with spoilers? If we talk,
you can spoil it away, right?
So, can you please tell us how you filmed the most perfect death scene ever? And how Dio comes into play.
Oh, okay. So whenever I write a character or whenever I write a movie, I do I do have a playlist for it, and I think music's very important. And I usually shot list with music in my head.
Yeah, that's awesome.
I do shot list extensively. But I always wanted the score for the score and the soundtrack for Sons of Superman to be reflective of what JT likes. Right, so he likes soul and R&B and jazz, and he also likes heavy metal. He picked that up in the Marine Corps, or not the Marine Corps. He was Special Forces
Ranger. Yeah,
Ranger.
So he really likes the old '70s, late '70s, early '80s, the Dios and Iron Maidens and stuff, Black Sabbath, and then so. And hopefully you can tell with the patches and stuff. And when we got to the scene, we're like, all right, I want this movie to still be gory. I want this movie to still be violent, even though it's kind of like a lighthearted Bob's Burgers with violence.
Yeah. That's a great way to put that.
And then when we came up with that scene, I was like, okay, so it's an actual bathroom. It's an actual working bathroom. And you can't use blood that most blood has corn syrup and a little bit of sugar in it, and sometimes they use coffee grounds to make it a little dark. Sometimes you use chocolate syrup to make it a little darker, so it kind of like is more reflective of real blood. Can't do that with a dog because the dog will just lick it all day.
Yeah.
So like they have to make this like non-appealing blood for a dog, and it could not smell more like vomit. It smells awful.
Oh, that's terrible.
Oh man,
that's terrible.
And Grandma had to sit in that.
Yeah.
The blood of his enemies.
Yeah. And we had to like do this thing where like we're in a bathroom that's unventilated. Like there's a bunch of dudes in there because it's a camera and a setup and all that shit and a rack focuser and stuff like this. And and it's the end of the day. It's the last scene we're filming. Like the sun's coming up. We all hate ourselves. We all want to go to bed.
Oh no.
And like Michael Jai White has a rare ability to be like falling asleep, standing up, and then you say action, and he snaps into it.
Oh wow.
And the whole joke is like it's a reveal, right? Like he's just like, oh, everything's fine, and then you do a quick pan, and then like this, massacre in the room. And I'm like, well, he does love, and I don't know how we got Holy Diver licensed the way it is, but we did. And I was like, well, he's gonna like nurture this guy to sleep, and like JT is pretty drunk at this point, and we do establish that he does talk to things like without anyone present. He will talk to a dog. He will talk to a sink. He will talk to rum.
Hello, rum.
Yeah. Well, he's just like, and like reading on the page, like I got notes back where like he's just explaining exposition. I'm like, is he? Because like he's alone most of his time. Like most of the time he's alone. So like to like keep his sanity, he does say stuff out loud, and that's a part of his character. And he doesn't really say expedition. He doesn't know really what's going on. And like eventually he gets drunk enough to talk to a dog. And like, what would you do to like sail a person off to death? You're gonna sing them a song, and you're gonna sing this song that you love, and it's gonna be Holy Diver.
But as it's the pacing of the scene is perfect because the way the dying is prolonged, and then you're like, is he fucking singing Holy Diver? And I took every time it's one of the funniest things I've ever seen. It was one of my favorite death scenes ever filmed.
Yeah, and I took that like, he's an Army Ranger. He's held his dead brother's dying. And he understood being there when a person goes out was important. I mean,
the conceit of the film about him concealing it from his grandma is wonderful in itself. But you have so many assets with your script in this because his caring of them. It's a little line like, can you let us ransack the house and we'll run off into the woods? And he says, no, it's tick season. And if I say defenestrated as much as I can in my life now, because when they talk about so can I ask about what may be the a bit of a romantic entanglement in the film, in the character of Pam and JT. I love the end of the film in a lot of ways, but does it close up that there might be, more dinners?
Yeah, I don't know I would like to see them go on at least a date in my mind. I think or at least a hangout. I think they'll eventually we will see each other again. I don't know if
or whatever friendship or whatever relationship blossoms.
Than a romance, but I think JT's for it completely. Also, Pam, the actor's non-binary.
Yeah, they're amazing. Absolutely amazing juxtaposition and a very physical movie. And as I understand, the shoots were probably opposite in that respect as well. So you're shooting a lot of fighting on this movie, maybe less fighting on the other film.
There's the fights on He Never Died are like they're flash in a pan. Like Jack just walks through people. This one's like they're more, and they have phrases, and they kind of go on for a little longer. And there's back and forth, and then I was so happy when. Actually, Teague Fong, our stunt coordinator and fight choreographer, a lot of the actors in this, Emily who plays, Emily who plays, oh my god, I'm forgetting her name, but
that's Kim.
Kim, yes, thank you.
Kim. Oh gosh,
Yeah.
yeah.
Emily who plays Kim's a stunt actor. S is a stunt actor. Daryl's a stunt actor who is the guy who dies in the bathtub. So I was really proud to have a lot of these stunt actors come in and like have
Oh,
more to
okay.
do other than these stunt actors. And S, who plays Pam, they auditioned for it and they nailed it. And they have like a Muay Thai background and they're a contortionist. And Pam originally in the script was, her. And then I talked to Teague about it, and I'm like, would they be more comfortable like I just made the character non-binary and they're
Mhm.
like transition or whatever? And then like I won't change anything. It won't be like a part of the story. It would just be
Right.
like you get to be in a movie as a non-binary romantic relationship with a 50-year-old black guy.
Yeah.
And then
and throw a lot of kicks.
Oh gosh,
yeah,
yeah.
and like yeah, why not? And then Teague was like, oh yeah, hell yeah. And then I was like, okay, yeah, I'll do that. And then I hung up the phone, and then I immediately went like, that's gonna be a conversation for later.
Oh, okay. There you go. Well,
So I didn't tell anybody again, and then I just did it, and then I talked to Michael J. White about it. He was like, "Yeah, I don't care." And then I was like, "Oh, right, awesome, that's rad. Thank you for being, tolerant and cool with that."
right.
Uh, I don't want to because they just nailed it, and they could do the physicality with it. And someone has to look alike and be able to perform in a way that looks like they could beat up Michael J. White.
Right.
And the character of
Right.
JT, right? Like when that came by, I was just like, oh man, like how would you? We couldn't be anybody else. Like, and plus, like they do it so nonplussed. They're so not,
Yeah. Yeah.
so not involved with what's going on. And I was like, this is exactly what we needed from this character, and they're just killing it completely.
And from a writing standpoint, is there an art to writing? I kind of call it line-orama. I feel like with the group, you have great dialogue and there's cuts and there's slams, and now you have less teeth and things like that. Is there kind of a subtler art to making that balance and not taking it too dark? Because just the lines, well, both movies are very quotable, and that's big in my life. About 80% of what I say are movie lines. But Sunset Superman, Don't Mess with Grandma is so quotable. I mean, it's one of the best.
Thank you. I mean, that means a lot to me because I'm usually a dialogue guy. With someone reaches out for me for punch up or ghostwriting or something, it's usually like spruce up the dialogue. And like I try to treat the dialogue as like a window to who you are as a person. Everyone speaks a little differently. Everyone has a different vernacular and vocabulary. So I try to give everyone a little like foible. But also I treat dialogue like a little 3-act structure, right? Like my favorite thing I've done personally is probably the defenestration bit.
Really?
Yeah, 100%. Because I was just like, I had to rewrite that scene for some reason. I forgot what it was, and then I was just like, well, okay, they do say and I'm like, it's a weird vocabulary word. I'm going to have people do it, and like it comes back around, right? So like that was my bit. I was always like, we start here, we kind of drift away, and then we come back to it.
Yeah.
And I think that absolutely floored me when it worked out.
It's tremendous. It's one for the record books, and again, it's brought joy to the deepest recesses of my life. Truly.
Thank you.
And it's the kind of clever dialogue that we love. Like Todd says, all movies are writing. Like the writing makes everything right and better. And for me specifically, clever movies get my number. And these two movies are just as clever and as real and quotable, but they have to be written. So, but to see it come together again, like to your earlier point, oh, it looks like that. Yeah. You look back on Defenestration and you're like, pat on the back. I did that.
If I had to if there's one scene that I could play at my funeral, it would probably be that.
Okay, wow.
Put it in your will.
That's tremendous.
Because first of all, that came out, I didn't know how this was going to play, but like when I said before, dialogue is a window to what the character motivations are and thoughts and values, right? And there's a bit of me that's like, yeah, this guy who's probably concussed, kind of drunk, and is defending himself, is threatening to kill somebody. he's kind of he's flirting with Pam instead. They're kind of arguing about the demonstration and what that actually means and stuff like that. Like as silly as that is, and as fun as that is to like hear from and see as a scene, it also lets you know like where his priorities are and like what he actually cares about. He's so low in the totem pole about about his own priorities of self-preservation, and like he really cares about, he doesn't even care like these people are like pointing a bow and arrow at him, like he does like I always try to remind people of that if I'm making a movie and then like the dialogue is like about sandwiches. I'm like, yeah, it's about sandwiches, but it's more of a metaphor about like what they're talking about. Like like He Never Died, he's ordering an eggplant parmesan and they're talking about eggplant parmesan. It's more of him just being like, I'm revealing to you that I'm sober.
Yeah.
The subtext.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. That's tremendous. I know we're over a little bit of time. Do you have a few more minutes for a couple of extra questions to wrap up?
Sure.
This is amazing because Sunset Superman is really prescient to it. It's a recent episode that we've just done. And do you have any kind of favorite moments from, aside from seeing Defenestration come together, any favorite really truly special moments of filming? I know we didn't talk too much about Jackie Richardson, but again, the subject matter of the movie, she was amazing. Just any moments that really, when it's dark for you, you think that was something I'm proud of on set?
Yeah, because that, like I said before, like Sunset Superman was not an easy movie to make. That was you're filming fight scenes all day, and then you have to like go indoors as the sun's coming up to film these quirky Coen brothers back and forth and stuff. And it can get like it gets really exhausting. And we try to make like the invert of He Never Died, right? Like this like anti-noir, like pools of colored light and longer, wider shots that they go in and out of scenes. We try to do like a very like Spielbergian, like put the movie together via shots, like a jigsaw puzzle.
Right.
And the whole time I'm like, oh man, I don't know how this is going to come together. This is like, it's only shot in 3 weeks. We shot it in less days than He Never Died. So I was kind of struggling there, but there was a bit where when Michael Jai White does his like I can't speech.
That was my quote. Yeah.
When he gets up and he's like, I can't get up, and like to see him like start to like well up a little bit, like honestly, and I was like, oh my god, like he's doing the thing.
Yeah.
Like earnestly. Like that, like it hit me. Like I was just like, oh my god, I can't believe we're it's so, and like that was a moment where I was just like, this was a blank piece of paper for a while. I didn't know who Michael Jai White as a person. I didn't like, and now like 3 or 4 years later, we're doing it, and here we are, and it's kind of like surreal to see that. And like I know like Alan Moore as a writer considers himself a wizard, and like the reason he considers himself a wizard is because like I had an idea, I wrote it down, and now it's a comic book or whatever.
Right.
Like I conjured something, and there's a bit of me that's like, yeah, that like there for a minute I was like, yeah, I feel that, I know what you're doing. Like JT, like that vest is on Michael Jai White. It happened. Like that's really cool.
Yeah.
So yeah, I would say probably that. Also like the bit with Jackie Richardson and Michael Jai White on top of the stairs together doing a bit. I was like, because I never really
that was amazing.
He just throws that. Yeah, she's so good.
It's when movies have a lot more heart than you think they're going to have. Like The Final Girls is a movie I talk about a lot. That's a horror comedy that has so much heart with this mother-daughter relationship. And a similar thing here, when she says "I love you" and says his name. And I will say, Jason, I pick a quote from every movie that we do. That
play the clip,
is indicative of like, I don't know what it is. It's like, it's an indicative of what I think is one of the strongest moments in the film, something that inspired me. And I will say with both He Never Died, incidentally, I chose, I'm going to eat you. Not because I want to, because I have to.
Oh, yeah.
Very, very hard to choose for that one. Very hard to choose for Sunset Superman, he Don't Mess with Grandma, because there's so many good lines. And that one I was like, do I go with something funny? Do I go with something heartfelt? And the moment that got me was that moment, because you had me like ham-fisted because I thought he was giving up, because you have this like, okay, yeah, I would give up too. He's multiple concussed. He's been maybe defenestrated. We'll figure that out later and other things. But I'm like, oh, he's giving up. But then when I literally fucking went, yeah, I said yeah in my fucking living room. And also said yeah when he and Pam connected with How Many Tours. So it's moments like that like kind of get you. And that's what's so brilliant about the writing in the movies that make them not only entertaining, but rewatchable. I've watched Don't Mess with Grandma 4 times since we started this journey. I'm probably going to watch it tonight now because we're talking about it so much.
How did the title get changed from Sunset Superman to Don't Mess with Grandma?
Tubi didn't like Sunset Superman because it didn't search engine optimization.
Ooh, look at that.
Geez.
That's good. That's interesting to know.
So the Terminator is coming around with Skynet AI taking control of the movie.
A little bit. And I've written them plenty of letters, and like I don't want to dog on Tubi because they did like they did help produce this movie, and they have it, and I'm glad people can watch it for free. But I wrote them several letters like, please keep the name Sunset Superman. It's a Dio reference. It means a lot to metalheads and veterans.
Right.
Ultimately it's their decision. And I don't hate Don't Mess with Grandma as a title, but I will always be jaded because I started it with Sunset Superman. I'm a Dio fan, so I will.
Well, the songs in the movie, again, spoiler, I will say that each time I watch He Never Died on DVD. I purchased it at Family Video here in Traverse City when there was one. And it was what I call the one copy. You see all the big hits. There's multiple copies, and then there's the small movie. There's one copy, and usually it's the cover that gets me. And so I found He Never Died that way in our local video store. And I was like, fucking Henry Rollins. And I usually hunt IMDb. I'm ahead of stuff. But that's one that I literally took, and it's important to the show because I brought it back to where we worked together. I'm like, you have to see this movie. So that's the crux of this show is us going, it's just this little independent, and you have to see it, for these particular reasons. So what are your thoughts on re-releases, physical media? Because, my DVD, there's no subtitles. I'd love to hear your director's commentary. Is there energy in your space? Do you have shape for physical releases, or is there anything that we don't know about?
Yes. In fact, if you guys if you can give me an address of yours, I'll mail you something because I love physical releases for sure. And right now I'm in a big, we own a horror bookstore here in Toronto, and we have a whole section of just VHSs that we have.
A horror bookstore?
Yes, absolutely.
That is what's the name of it?
Little Ghost Books.
That was part of business owner. It's all going to be
we'll never get through all our notes because we don't have enough time.
That's incredible.
I definitely wanted to get that out there.
VHS rentals.
No, well, we don't. I'm a huge VHS fan. I'm not really sure why, but Material Void just came onto the scene, and they're a VHS printing label. And their first thing is He Never Died on VHS. You're looking for that.
Look at that.
What a scoop. That's freaking tremendous. Yeah. No way.
So get it ordered right now.
Yeah.
Bingo.
And
sorry, that was cheesy, but you've also made it as to one of our little sticky pad things. Yeah, bingo. Bingo is... It's been a metaphor in my life. I've just been bingo. What do we have to do today? Bingo.
That and you want to switch to okay. You want that in your life. Yeah. You were just telling me that. I just want to respond to people okay, and then they'll maybe go away.
So again, go physical media. So VHS copy of He Never Died is coming out for purchase sometime.
It's out. You can get it. Material Void brings it out. You can look them up on Instagram or whatever.
Oh, it's amazing.
They did a great job. It's actually a friend of mine who did it. And they're coming out with more original releases. They do the full 4x3 pan and scan.
Whoa.
They do the whole bit. So I'm really impressed by them, and they're actual. You can get a black VHS tape or a red VHS tape.
Oh God.
Well, I get both.
Yeah,
I'm hot under the collar here, like Southern lady style.
So is that going to come back like vinyl? Is VHS going to be the new vinyl?
I think it already is. Because I have a small collection of VHS tapes of movies that I love. We keep playing VHS tapes in the background of Little Ghost books and stuff like that. It's pretty back.
Yeah.
In my mind, it's like a collector's item, and it does kind of there's pros and cons to that, because a DVD is it weighs less than a gram, but like a VHS
there you go
can go up there in the poundage after a while, but they're fun.
So we'd like to ask you that we do have like a little bit of a rapid speed round at the end, but and if anybody's checking out your IMDb page, there's information on what you have coming up. So like aside from that, what would you like to share? What you're working on, what's coming up, and what's exciting in your life?
I got a Little Ghost Books is doing well. Everyone check that out. That's more of my husband's brainchild. I'm just there to help move books.
Sounds fun to visit. Everything you said about it makes me want to go there.
I want to see.
ASAP.
I want to see. I love bookstores. The little mom and pop.
Yes,
we've got a couple here in Traverse
You're doing
City.
it right. Thank you.
And we absolutely love that.
Yeah. Cheers.
Yeah. Please let me know if you guys are in town. But anyway, yes, that's going strong. Happy with that. I have a book coming out, Nightmare Country, in March, I think, which I'm excited about. That's my first big old novel.
Oh, nice!
Tremendous! Congratulations.
Thank you. I'm jazzed about that. And Roommates is in active development. That's my next movie. Hopefully, I'm talking to Adrian Stern again tomorrow.
Tremendous.
For casting director, and my producer I like is on it, Justin Kelly. And that's going to be somewhere in the middle when it comes to what the tone will be of He Never Died and Sunset Superman. It's about a guy who moves into an apartment after a bad breakup, and then he moves into a house after a bad breakup, and then he realizes the house is haunted immediately, but can't afford to live, so he just stays there.
So he's stuck.
No way. And he has to get roommates to subsidize his living,
or the ghosts of roommates.
Oh my God. Or there are roommates. Oh, I love this. This is great. Wow. Tremendous. And this is a screenplay that you have written?
Yeah.
That is amazing. Well, we can only hope for, I guess, next time's the charm as far as your casting successes and having a good time. It's a lot of hard work, like we talked about. You can read through the lines, and we, again, celebrate everybody who makes a movie, small, large, specifically you, because you've made 2 movies that we absolutely love. We tell everybody about and watch over and over and over again. And again, truly thank you for it. It's amazing. All right. So if you don't mind, a couple of rapid fire questions. And my wife would kill me if I didn't ask. She's an English teacher. What are you reading right now?
What am I reading right now? It's actually, I am reading, hold on, let me look at what's the press on this called? I'm reading the annotated Frankenstein.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. What's the press called? Hold on one second. Oh, it's Mitt Press. It's in Massachusetts. So it's good old Frankenstein, but it's annotated by a bunch of philosophers and biologists and historians.
Oh, wow.
So I'm reading Frankenstein because I like Frankenstein, first of all, but also the Del Toro one just came out. One thing I didn't realize upon reading the annotated Frankenstein, they make a lot of references in Frankenstein that you just don't get because it's turn of the century,
right?
And delve into that a little bit more is pretty fascinating. It's a good read, especially if you like Frankenstein. It's a bit of a boring read because it's a lot of just in 1897, this is what that meant, and this is what that goes, and a geology. But
there's a good niche for that. There's a part of my brain that loves that kind of monotony. Yeah. That's why I love American Psycho, the book, because every chapter, everybody's dress is talked about in nauseating detail, and I kind of like that. All right, that is amazing. In your opinion, maybe aside from Jack, who is the best movie villain of all time?
Oh, movie villain of all time. That's a good one. Oh, man. we always talk about Jokers.
Ooh, interesting. I get that.
I'm gonna go with best movie villain of all time. That's an unfair question. There's so many good ones.
It is, but it's just your opinion, and maybe your opinion in the moment.
But yeah, it's gonna be my opinion in the moment. I think, because as soon as we're done, I'm like, oh, I should have said.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna go with the Jack Nicholson Joker.
Oh, I love it.
Yeah. Oh, I love that.
Watch that in the cinema over and over.
Love that Joker.
The whole day. Yeah. Yeah.
Because like, and this is my reason why, like, all the Jokers we've ever had, they do have some kind of like weird philosophy or ideology that they're going for. Even if they're like, I'm just a dog chasing cars, they seem very like motivated by something. I don't think that the Jack Nicholson's Joker is just chaos completely. Like, he is just he's having a great time doing it. And I think that's the scariest part about him, is like, he's having a wonderful time.
Even at death, right? He's got the laughing box going off. Yeah.
You like that dedication, like Henry Rollins' preparation.
And like Kim Basinger at one point is like, what do you want? Like, what's your goal here? And he's like, I want my face on the $1 bill. Or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then she's like, what does that even mean? He's like, I don't know.
Yeah. Absolutely. Absolutely. What is the biggest, most famous movie you've never seen?
I have never seen
that. You'll admit to, I guess, in polite company.
Yeah. I have never seen Lawrence of Arabia.
Oh, there you go. Okay. What is he missing?
I like it because it's clean.
It is
I stole that from Prometheus.
It's remarkable. As
I don't know that I've seen the whole thing.
I guess Henry Rollins talks about his first movie that you can't find. As Peter O'Toole, it was his first movie. I guess that's interesting. Maybe that's of note to see. And what is the movie line that you may quote most in your life?
The movie line I quote most in my life, I quote a lot of Simpsons to the short of.
Okay, that's fair. Yeah, we'll take that too.
You take that too?
Yeah. What's just one that just is your most quoted thing?
I do say let's rock and or roll a lot.
That's perfect for a movie set, and we're both musicians as well as movie lovers, and so that really makes a lot of sense. And since we're a small movie podcast, what is your favorite small independent or obscure movie? We always like to learn about new stuff. So do you in company when somebody's like, what's the weirdest or smallest movie what's one you like to share?
Oh man, that's a really good question, because there are a lot of them.
That's why we like that we can do this until we're dead or we never die.
I'm trying to think about what's the small,
because people like to, and we find that this is a little bit of a difficult question at times when it comes from us because people overthink it. But sometimes I might say The Dark Backward. Now it's not that weird of a movie because Bill Paxton is in it, but it's fucking weird
movie. But okay,
it just changes my core temperature. So just like a movie that you throw out there that's like a really bizarre one or obscure movie when asked. Because again, we love to find out wild new stuff.
Listen, give me 1 second. Let me just make sure I get this title right.
Yeah, absolutely. And this isn't. We probably need to rethink this question. It's a hard one. But somebody said Jaws one time, and they're like, that's not weird enough. But it was weird when I saw it because I don't like horror movies. I'm like, dope. Perfect example of a weird movie to you.
Okay, here we go. Because I would like to say smaller movies like Pig with Nicolas Cage and stuff. But I'm like, you know what? I can go dark.
I love Pig. That's holy. We've talked about
Pig and how Cage was so good in that movie.
We're with you.
Oh no, Pig's
but
wonderful.
But go deeper if you'd like.
I'm going to go deeper than that. I'm gonna say it's a 2020 movie, and it had no one's seen it. I really enjoy it. It's called Some Southern Waters.
Ooh, we'll check it out.
Yes.
Yeah.
All right.
And it for me, it's black and white. It's very abstract and weird. It is the closest thing to someone actually understanding and replicating a David Lynch movie, in my opinion.
Wow, that says a lot.
But it is raw and kind of not quite contained as a movie as you would like it to be.
Nice.
But I for me, I'm just check out Some Southern Waters. Also, another one I'm going to throw out there is Butt Boy. Has anyone heard of that?
Oh, I heard of. Yes.
Yeah.
I
you
was
brought that up before.
Yeah. We did a early independent deep dive in season 1 and went with this movie Wings of Desire. That was a very obscure movie that we'd never heard of. And we did it kind of as a blind date. So we like to go into movies cold, and that was a really obscure movie that we'd never seen. And when we did, and we reviewed, and I think you're probably a fan of that movie, as I may have.
Oh, it's one of my favorites. And like that, my original pitch for He Never Died was the punk rock Wings of Desire. I love it.
Yes, right, because they're
Perfect.
angels on earth. They're bored.
Yeah.
They want to go.
Yeah.
Holy cow! I never thought about that. Yeah, we did that on season 1.
How many studio execs know that movie? That
It's-
one.
And it's been
You don't
remade.
pitch that.
No, oh, don't.
But
Don't pitch it like that.
Yeah.
remade with Nicolas Cage, ironically.
Yeah, and we also did Scotland, PA. That was one of my picks
Yeah.
that you've referenced
No.
before too,
Yeah.
in one of your interviews that you liked.
Yeah,
so
it's
that
dope.
was pretty awesome. We kind of seem to be on the same.
Yeah, we
wavelength
are on
there.
the same wavelength with movies, I think. Well, thank you so much for taking
Thank you for having me.
this time and extra time for being with us and sharing with us your journey. And thank you for your movies and your art. Please keep making it.
Hey, likewise. Thank you for having me. Keep doing what you're doing. This is great.
We
This is
will.
absolutely great. I'm glad I have a new podcast to listen to. And you guys seem genuinely great. Keep doing it.
Cheers.
All
Thank
right.
you so much, Jason.
Thank you,
Yeah, thank you.
Jason.
Bye.
Have a good rest of your day, guys.
Cheers.
Who are those guys? You'll love it. It's just a little independent.
Oh,
You'll love it. It's just a little independent. You're about to say you'll love it. It's just a little independent. You're gonna love it. It's just a little independent.
it's so nice to have something that's not there.
Okay. We're 10. Yeah, we're 2. We're like, we know love it. It's just a little independent. Like I'm introducing a movie to you. Like you're about to.